Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to this version of our professional development session. And today we are welcoming another one of our favorite library people, Dawn Frood, who is going to be sharing with us ideas about using streaming videos in our courses. So I'm going to turn it over to Dawn.
Thank you. I would first like to open up with a question just to gauge where everybody is in using streaming videos. And I'm going to ask that you use your vote button so I can have an idea. So my question is, how many of you are currently using FAU streaming videos, whether it be personally or within your classes? Okay, so 41% of you are currently using our streaming videos. So that's a good number. I'm glad to hear that. So what we're going to do today is hopefully enhance what you're already doing, those of you that are using it, and for those of you that this is new, we're going to get you started, and hopefully you'll feel comfortable with our resources when we're through today. Now, recently, the library website has been revamped, and so even if you've taught here in the past and you've used streaming videos, you might have encountered some issues recently, and so one of my goals today is to make sure that you can find the resources that you're familiar with using. So today we're going to address primarily the databases that we subscribe to. And we're going to go mostly live into the databases. I have very few slides. And I'd like to encourage you when we're live in the databases, if you have a particular question that you've noticed maybe in trying these resources yourself, feel free to ask me in the moment while I'm doing it live, because if you have this question, I'm sure somebody else will also have the question. What I'm going to cover today is mostly what I'm hearing from my colleagues when they're getting questions from the people that they're working with in the different colleges. Each college is slightly different, so if I'm not touching upon your area, this would be another way that you could reach out to me. Personally, I don't use Canvas because I don't teach classes, but the things that I'm going to show you today are going to be helpful for you. Since you're familiar with Canvas, this is going to be very easy for you to work into what you're already doing with that platform. So let me go on to the next screen. So these are the 8 collections that we have available currently at FAU. And each of these platforms, they have a particular focus. So some of them might be documentaries that, you'll see some that just have popular, maybe, new releases, those kind of films. We have theater, medical research, and instructional type videos. Like if you were a faculty teaching professional counseling and you want to see dialogue between a patient and a counselor, those kind of things. If it's nursing, maybe interacting with patients. So we just have quite a range of topics available to you. Now, the largest of our collections is the academic video online. That one we know as Alexander Street Press. We're going to spend a lot of time in that one today towards the end of the program, but we also are going to peek into these other resources as well, just so you're comfortable with what they look like when you get into them. Just note that all of these resources have very similar characteristics. All of them can do closed captioning. Many of them have transcripts that go with them. They even have citation tools. If your student needs to cite this within their assignment, that's something that's even available to students within these databases. I recommend, if you can, start with these rather than having the students link out to resources that we don't subscribe to, because you're going to be more ADA compliant and be able to really, it's going to help you as a faculty have more resources, and the students as well.
And Dawn, if we have anybody from another college, they would just need to reach out and see what resources are available for them, right?
Right. So if you're at the Broward campus or another campus that maybe when you log in to use your resources, it's not through the FAU site, these products are very common in libraries, and they may not have all of the resources we have, or they may have a different variety of them, but they all basically work the same way once you get comfortable with them. And what I'm thinking is each subject area has their own interests, and you're gonna gravitate towards a certain database, and that's the one you're gonna rely on. And then maybe some of the outliers you'll use in maybe, in situations that don't, come up as often. So it is good to know about them. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is searching for the video content. And this, before we actually go in and do it live, I just wanted to kind of give you a little preview of what we're getting ready to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for specific streaming video databases. And this would be these from the link prior, each of these type of databases. So when you know your database that you're comfortable with, you can actually go right into that. So that's where we're going to start. And then after I show you how to get to the databases, I'm going to show you the steps you would take if you already have a title in mind and you want to just specifically look for one title and see if we have it and work from that route. And then the third option that I'm going to discuss very slightly is OneSearch, and that's this box right here. But this is primarily useful when you're looking, if you're teaching on ground and you want a DVD, maybe to put on hold for your students to watch, that kind of thing, and reserves.
Somebody asked, what about items related to the School of Business?
About what?
Items
School of
related to the
Business.
School of Business?
Okay, so School of Business, as when we get logged in, and I have sort of a cheat sheet guide that I put together, and I'm going to show you where you can locate videos that are specific to each topic, and business is one of them. So I promise you I'll remember that when we get to that point, and I'll show exactly where they are. So with this OneSearch, this is primarily for, again, if you're on ground teaching, but today we're going to focus on if you know the database's name that you're looking for, such as Canopy or DocuSeek2, you would look here. If you know the exact title of the video you're looking for, you would look at this tab here. But right now we're going to go live, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And here we are at the library's homepage. So if you haven't been here in a while, it might look a little bit different. This is the OneSearch box we were just discussing. But where we're going to start right now is very quickly with the database tab. And so if you, let's say you're somebody working with biology and you want some of the biology type databases, streaming video databases, you can put in, that you have to know the title of the database here. You can type that in. And when you do, it's going to search through all of our database, all of our many, many databases that we have. And there might be a few results that come up, but usually the one you're choosing is going to be the first one there. So this is the one that's specifically biology and neuroscience, and it deals with experiments. So this would be one. And then let's say to show you another example, Swank. Here's, and it's also known as Digital Campus. And this is one that we would typically, if you're someone who's using motion pictures in the classroom, one of the common questions that I've gotten recently is, sometimes like Florida Project, that's a movie that's out in the theaters that addresses a lot of social issues. And it was also produced by somebody who's from Florida. And so I've had several departments asking for that one. So this is the kind of place where if we were going to have it streaming, it would be located here. And then we have another streaming video, Canopy. So you can see, as long as you know the actual streaming database, this would be the way you would use, this section. Go back home for a second. Okay. Yes, do we have a question?
No, I was just going to ask what we do, how do we get ourselves familiar with the database that works best for us?
Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to show you all the cheat sheet I put
Okay,
together.
thank
And
you.
I really think that I could have started with that, but I wanted you to know to start off just knowing the regular way to go in to do this. And maybe the way you might even be instructing your students to use this resource is starting with the library's homepage.
Great, thank
So
you.
this is sort of why I'm starting this way, but I've put it all in one pretty
Got it.
package all
That's
wrapped up. And I'm
okay.
hoping that some of this stuff you won't need, but I just want you to be aware and feel
Great.
comfortable with
Thank
it either
you.
way. And
Thank
I
you.
have another question over here.
Yeah, if you were in the databases, is there a tab you could click on in there that would show you all of the streaming videos? So,
You know, I'm not quite sure with this new if we go to the browse section under databases, we could, let me see,
and then is
database
it there by
type,
database?
streaming video, like this here. So this, thank you. So you could just go right here and we could see the different streaming video options we have. And the one thing is it shows 48 here, I noticed up here. What they're doing, why it appears to be so many is Alexander Street Press, that very large database that I was discussing, has so many different individual subject areas that, as not to overwhelm, they will brand it by different subject areas. So if you know that you're someone that's looking for film specific or business specific, you can actually go into that part of this database rather than wading through a ton of subject areas. So that's a way
Makes
to
sense.
get through that. So, but yes, this is, you can definitely refine once you're in by streaming video, and you could use it that way. So we're going to go back to the homepage. I'm going to show you the second way that people will typically be searching for streaming videos. So here, this would be subject area databases. Well, let's say you wanted to know a specific title. Do we have a title of a specific video? And the place that's right now would be the best way to look is in journals. And it might seem kind of counterintuitive, but I was kind of thinking about it the other day, like if you had JSTOR as a database and you were looking for an article within JSTOR, you would look, right here for it. Where if you, in this case, our databases are the streaming video platforms, and the titles would be the title of the video. So that might help kind of keep it in perspective a little bit. So when we click here, first thing you'll do is just type in your title. Let me add one. Okay. Just make sure. It's very difficult to spell even small words when you're being filmed.
It is.
Okay, so here we go. One drop rule. And as we're looking, you see, oh, okay, yes, we do have full access to this. And notice how it uses the word text, because it's almost treating it like it's an article as well. So just, kind of in going with that thought that these are articles within a database. Now, you could click here or here to get access to it, but in doing that, it's going to require additional steps. So if you know right away to go to this link right here, it's going to open right up to the video. And this particular video is located within the Alexander Street platform. Again, this is the larger of the platforms and the one that I anticipate most of you will use. And while it's loading, I just want to talk to you about a few of the features of this platform. So first of all, many times when you're using Alexander Street Press, there will be multiple tabs right here. In this case, in this particular video, we just have one tab. And in other videos, you might have a tab where it'll show you the full transcript to the video. So that would be located over here on the right-hand side if that's available. Sometimes if it has a transcript, we'll even open right up to the transcript. So in this case, this video doesn't have that function. However, it does have the ability for closed captioning. And so this would help if, as far as ADA goes, this is going to be important to know. Also, any of the videos that you choose here, you will be able to have many ways to share this with your students and also kind of help them out as far as tools go. If you're expecting them to cite this in their paper, or if there's a paper or a presentation associated with this, there is a citation tool. They just have to make sure that when they click into this, they're aware of the style that you use in your class, and they select appropriately. And at that point, they would just be able to copy and paste this into their reference page. It's not like all of these resources that generate citations, they're not always perfect, but I find it at least gives them a good starting place. And then if they're going back to whatever manual they have to use, they can double check and make sure that it's okay. But they usually have the important information is located there. Also, you have the ability as an instructor to, students can share it through email and other means that just to kind of show you different ways that they could export it. But I anticipate that you would be more or less embedding this into your coursework, and this is how you would do that. There are actually 3 different versions of this, depending upon how you would utilize it. You could give them the persistent link that's here. This is the embed code if you're using it with a website, and then this is if you're using it with your learning management system. This is what you would put in there. So there are several options for that. And so this is all I want to show you just right here as we were just in the library's website, and we're going to actually go really in depth into this database in a moment, but I just wanted to show you the benefit of kind of starting with that way. So again, we just went into journals here and we typed the title in, and that's how we got access to the title of this video. Now I'm going to take you to that the cheat sheet that I was telling you about, and it's located right here at the bottom of the page in research guides. Hopefully you're familiar with this tool. Librarians try to get to know the different content areas, and they will generate tools to help you very targeted find all the different resources you need. They do this in a way that's geared towards students and also towards faculty. So just keep in mind that you can notice at the top that they have many ways that you can actually decide what you're looking for here. Now I'm going to take you, since who we're talking to today are mostly faculty and staff, we're going to go right down the list into the faculty guides. And there, if you can see, there's actually 19 guides available here. And the one that we're looking at is, it's Faculty Resources and Services Guide. So if you can think of any of the resources that we're going to put together for you and have them all in one place, this is the place to go. So maybe you might even have questions different than just videos. You might have issues about copyright or course reserves, or but there's quite a bit here. So if you've never found this before, it's worth your while to get here and get to the site. Many hours and many people have had their hands in this to get this into a place where it's going to be very helpful for you. But today we're looking at the very last tab, last but not least, video FAQs. And now this guide here, in this page, is not only addressing streaming videos that you would use in a class online, but maybe some of you may be doing blended classes, or you're, you also teach an on-ground class. So this actually covers every angle to videos at FAU, and just kind of, the points that we feel like are going to be the most helpful for you, the go-to things. And so I'm going to start off in this top box and just talk about a few ways that you can help and empower yourself to locate videos, and also understand the process of how I'm the collection development librarian, so it'll help you kind of understand how we can help you and how you can help yourself. So first of all, sometimes you might get a title and you think you know what you want, and it might be a little bit off. I've had a few faculty ask me for some things and the titles weren't quite right. But they gave me enough information. If I went to IMDb, I was able to figure out, oh, well, this is what they really meant. And then I could give them more exact information. Also, if it's not really sure yourself, this is a good place to go just to know who the title and the director and all of the other people are involved. So you know you're asking for the right edition of something. And so I have some recommended steps that you should try. And the first thing is what we just did a moment ago is by trying to type the title into the journal search box. So that's what we just did. And then if for some reason it's not there, you could also try the library catalog. And that was the SearchWise link that was right below that. I'm sorry, OneSearch, sorry. Right, it's recently been rebranded, OneSearch. So you could try there as well. So this is kind of in the order of how we'd want you to do it. And then if it's not in the catalog, you just don't seem to see it there, it doesn't mean that we don't have it. It just means maybe there's maybe a broken link or there's something is still waiting to be updated. So in that case, you're going to go right into the different streaming video collections. And that's where below, I have each one of them listed here. And I was going to talk with you a little bit about that in just a moment. Now, if let's say you want a streaming video or you want a DVD that you've gone through, you've exhausted all the measures, you've looked at all the different locations and you can't find it, or you're struggling to get it, anyway, if you come to this material suggestion form, you can fill out this form. It'll go directly to me and I can help you get what you need in this case. And if you notice, it's not just electronic resources and streaming videos and DVDs, it's every type of resource. So just remember, this is something that this is one-stop shopping. You can give us all of your information and I will get back with you as soon as I see it, and we'll reply and let you know the status of the situation. Sometimes we already have it and I'll just have to send you a link. Sometimes we have to go through and actually purchase it, and we can do that as well. If you do know you're going to be using videos in the classroom, it's a good idea not to wait till just a few days before you're wanting it, because sometimes it does take a little bit of time to acquire them, even though they're streaming, because we're dealing with contracts. So that's something that you'll want to keep in mind. If you are someone that is teaching on ground and you're looking at DVD, you can go click on the Media Center reservation request form, and they will also help you with having the DVD on hold for you and for the students that you work with. While I'm in this box, I wanted to point out that the video that we're using today is the PowerPoint that we're using today is also right here, just in case you want a refresher. There are very few slides in it, but there are some pertinent links that you might want to be able to get back to. So I put that right here. And then the forms that I've mentioned over here are also off on this side here. Now, before I go into our databases, because I'd like to have a strong finish in our databases, I just wanted to show you like what happens if you've looked through everything and you just can't find it at all in what we have. We do have some go-to sites that we found on the internet that you might get lucky and have access to videos that you would have never thought of. And most public libraries have streaming videos called Hoopla. I don't know any libraries in the area that don't subscribe to this product. And just to be aware, one of the great things about this one is, you know how public libraries are always looking for the most popular things that are out there to keep their patrons interested. And so if you're really looking for something popular and you notice that we don't have it, this might be a great place to start. And one of the things, one of the videos I was asked for the other day, because of all of what's happening in the news, is Anita, the video about Anita Hill. So if this was something that comes up, today this video might be popular to show in a classroom because it's relevant right now. It might not be something that we would want to purchase streaming, because in order for us to have a streaming video, each individual video many times can cost us several $100s a year just to have that video. And so it doesn't make sense for us to have every video out there and then have to renew every year and spend additional $150 or something like that. So in cases like this, where it might be, this is a popular topic today, and it might, move, not be in the future, this would be a good option for it. And all you have to do to borrow this is, click on the borrow link, and you'll need to have a library card for whatever library system is closest, wherever you live. And I would pretty much guarantee that they do have access to this tool. And there's a wonderful, you have so much variety
That's interesting.
with this tool. So a lot of people don't realize that, that, this is something it is very high quality. So, and then Boca Raton, many of you are from around here, they also have the same thing. So I provided the two most popular links that I think you might go to for accessing Hoopla. Another database that is very useful is Internet Archive. And that's one, it's been vetted, and there's a less of a chance that you're gonna find something that's been used without permission, although it does happen there too. So you do want to be very careful when you're going out of our databases to make sure that you're getting it from something credible and it hasn't been, stolen, because I think that could come back to haunt you. And since we're in October, this is a month you don't want to be haunted.
No, we don't want to be haunted.
But I did provide some other popular resources, and YouTube, sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you can find something good there. So, that's another option for you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at what we have here. And I am not going to start with the largest collection because I'm going to go deeply into that. We're going to go into that at the very end. And I'm just going to skip through these a little bit and just let you know what they look like when you log in, and maybe a few of the features. And you might see something here that if I wouldn't have shown you, you may not have been aware of, and it might open your eyes to some neat resources. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one, Ambrose. And this video collection, by the way, these are the direct links into them. So if you find there's one you really like, or if you're not really sure what they're about, you can see the topics and say, oh, I'm going to look in here. And when you get an Ambrose, it's a very small collection, but it's wonderful. What they have is very high quality. So these are the only topics available that we have in here. But just to show you, when you click on it, you can see there are quite a bit of videos, and you can see how long they are, and their images included. And when you click into each individual video, they have it broken down if it's a play by different acts, and there'll be transcripts. And you have the ability, just like you do with some of the other streaming videos, to embed this into your coursework. It has the persistent link, and this is something you can use. So if you see here are the transcripts, and you can choose which section that it's in. You can also, it has a citation tool and the links for embedding. So, and one of the things I like about this database is once this is one program of 37 in this one Shakespeare plays, but you can also see related programs. And I think that's very helpful in this case. But all of these, so you have transcripts or closed captioning or both. So they're going to be very helpful that way. Let me go back so that's a little bit of Ambrose. And Canopy. Canopy is one of the videos that, if you can see, it has, someone asked earlier about business. This one is one of our databases that's strong in business videos. So, and you can see a few other things. And looking in here, this is another one that's, this is a medium-sized collection, but you can see the different videos that we have. There are many ways that you can search, you can browse by subject area. I think this, if I were teaching, I would kind of gravitate towards the areas that I know, or if you have a specific title, you would put your title in here and look that way. So I think you could try a few different ways. If you're someone who needs documentaries, you do that. And just to show you what happens if we click on it, number and ethnicity. And when you click, here are a few, they give you a nice selection. And you can click on any one of them and just play like you would a regular video if you were streaming something from, any of the other platforms on the regular internet. And again, but the beauty with this is you have the ability to create a playlist and clips. You can share it, and there, other options. There's the transcript. That's again going to be really important if you're doing strictly online classes. And then the sharing, they're going to give you the embed links that you need in this case. So this is a really nice platform. Swank. Swank is one of our smaller collections. We only have about 25 videos in here. They're rather expensive. And these, a lot of times, are those blockbuster films that come out. But sometimes they're, important to show in the classroom for various reasons. A lot of times I'm finding that faculty, when they require these videos, a lot of times they'll ask students to view these at home and be ready to discuss when they come to the classroom. So by having this, we have unlimited access to it. The students can actually click into these videos, watch them from home, and you can go into class and see. We have, typically at one time, we wouldn't have more than 25 because they're so expensive, and they are usually, a small length of time that we have them, that it's, we try to be very selective of what we can do with this one here. Our wish is that, as far as with our library funding, is that you would try first some of our larger video collections like Alexander Street Press, because you might find similar concepts that you're trying to prove and illustrate, but won't cost the university quite so much. Also, sometimes if you get in a situation where we just can't purchase it for you, a lot of times you can ask the students to rent it cheaply online, and many times it's under $3 if you need to do the popular videos. That's not the ideal route, but that's something that you could do. DocuSeek 2, just like its name, is mostly documentaries, and there are some very specialized collections that we have here. Icarus Films is one of them, Bullfrog Films. So if you're someone that that those are the films that are in your program area, this is a great site for you. It's very easy to use. I like that when you first open up, all of the subject areas are right where you can see them. And if you wanted to know every single title that we have, you would click on the A to Z link. I'm just going to show you business. And let's say I'm just going to click into the first one as an example. And to, again, show you that here's the video. You would click on it here. Here's where you embed it. And if you see below, there's the transcript. So there's just this, it really is so much, it's just perfect for what you guys are going to need it for. Film platform. And this is another smaller collection, but if you can, see, have some wonderful, a lot of documentaries here. And it comes up alphabetically, so you go through the list, or at the top, you can search by subjects, just like you're going to see the common theme, the subjects, the A to Z searching. It's just a matter of getting yourself in there and playing with it and feeling comfortable and confident with it. If for some reason some of these things that I'm showing you today, if you find that you've never used them before, but you see the value in it and you need a little more help, you can do two things. You can either reach out to me. I'm going to have my contact information at the end of the video, at the end of your video, my presentation. And you could also reach out to your library liaisons that are subject specialists that are already working with your colleges, because it's a good idea to get them involved, because they might know even more than I do about your specific topic, specific subject area. So keep in mind that you do have them as a resource. And we already sort of looked at Jove a moment ago. So the last one is Films on Demand. And again, look at the different subject areas. This is very broad. And I just want to give you a glimpse of what this platform looks like. And you can do share, you can embed link. It's all very similar. The one thing with this database, it's slightly different than some of the others. If you notice right next to the title, it says full video. They have some full videos, like 26 results, but then they have other sections of that are clips of parts of videos, and there's a larger area that you can look into that you might just be able to get snippets. And maybe if they thought that was a snippet of value, it might be of value to you as well. So this is not as small of a database as it looks like. And now, if we're ready, we're going to venture into academic video online, or also known as Alexander Street Press. And just to kind of give you a quick glance, this is the subject area within this. And really, there's something for everyone. Music, opera.
I know I had some requests for some PBS.
Yeah, PBS, right? And the counseling and therapy is one of my favorites. I just like the way that works. So you're going to notice today when I do a little illustration that's kind of where I go with this. Okay, so here's their homepage. And this is, again, every single thing that we subscribe to with Alexander Street Press. And it's not even just videos here. We also have sound recordings, and there are documents and images included in this database. So this is a very inclusive site. And what we're going to do is kind of work our way across the top of the tabs. But before I do that, I want to just point out, let's say we don't cover everything you need and as thorough as you need. I want you to be aware that there are several other videos that you can watch to help you with some of the tools here. And in this database has this function, but this is also included in a lot of the other databases. So it's just a matter of knowing that it's there and knowing to look for it. Let's get my notes for a second.
It's a lot of information here,
Oh my
Dawn.
gosh. Okay, so first thing I'm going to click on is My Collections. And My Collections isn't, actually, it's not me. It's my, as in the My family of FAU. So this is all of what we have here at FAU. So don't be fooled and think that it's just what you have. But speaking of My Collections, I believe that it's a good idea, if you're going to use this as a tool, to go ahead right out of the gate and create a user profile. And I've done that. And this way you can save your clips and you can modify things to have for later. If you're teaching 2 or 3 classes, you can have one folder for one class, one for another class. So you can really go to town with this and make your life much easier. All right, so now we're in as me, and we're going to go on to the next slide. So we saw all of the collections, but we also have it by discipline, and they are very broad at first, and then as you notice, if you roll over different areas, let's say you're health sciences, but you only want to see the nursing videos, you can refine that way. Or if you're music and performing arts, you could decide, I really want classical or theater. So you can refine even further by looking at the disciplines. So that's a nice tool. If you know your title, then you would want to use the title tab. And then if you know your publisher, if there's sometimes you just get this publisher, I know. So here are the titles. Something to point out while we're at this tab. If you notice, we have like hundreds of thousands of resources, just over 100 in music and performing arts. But one thing I want you to be aware of is not all of this is video. We have multiple types of formats. So if you know that your goal for coming in here is only to get videos, first thing you want to do is come over to the left side and refine it. And then now it's going to kind of make all that other stuff invisible and not overwhelm things here. So, but if you were browsing by titles, this is how you could do that. And
Shirley Gordon asked, do we use our FAU login?
okay, so very good question. Do you use your FAU login? So yes and no. If you are so actually when creating your Alexander Street account or any of these other vendor accounts, you can use whatever email you want because this is an account between you and the vendor. Now, accessing all of these resources that I've showed you today so far, If you're on campus, you shouldn't have to do any sort of authentication because it'll recognize by IP address that you're here. If you're at home and you get into the library, the first time you try to log into one of these databases, it's going to ask you for your login information, and that's just your OWL card number. And typically, unless you've changed it, then it's your birth month and then day, the 2 digits of each. Once you've done it per session, it remembers it, so you would only have to do that once if you're on campus. But if you were looking at the particular different databases, you would just create your own account there.
Am I correct that instead of using your OWL card number and your PIN, you could also use your FAU user ID, your net ID?
So you can also use your FAU net ID as well. So in addition to the OWL card. So a few different ways to get to this. And let me just see. So what I'm going to show you first. Let's. How many times? 5 minutes left. Okay. Okay. So this video here. Let me see if I can mute it really quick. If you notice, this is the first video that I've opened up in Alexander Street Press that actually has a video in it, and with the transcript. And you can see that I've also set it to show closed captioning, so that you have kind of everything going on here, in addition to the other things that I showed you earlier about all the clips and everything down below. Now, what I want to point out is, if you've created a clip of your own from this video, you can click off to the right. And if you did, it would be there. This is one that I created that's a short illustration. And then if other people within the Alexander community, other faculty or other users have created clips, theirs will be here as well. So if if you're considering making a clip, somebody might have already done it and you might be able to pick up and use their clip of that. So just be aware that that's an option for you, but this is where you would get that. And then to show you how to make a clip, I'm going to go back to the transcript version because to me this is just a little bit easier. If you notice next to each of the text where they're speaking, there's a number next to it. That's the minutes into it. And if you come down to the option to make a clip, which is just scissors, and the most important thing with this is you have to give it a title. So I can just say sample number 2, maybe. I have to spell it right though. Let's do staple number 2. So here's, that's our title for this. And now we're going to give it a start time. And you can look off to the right and say, oh, all right, this is exactly right where I wanted to start, 1 minute and 45 seconds. So you'll put that in. And then maybe you get through and you see some of the details and you realize that at 3:45 is where you want this to end. And then all you have to do is save. Now you do have options. You can save it just for yourself, or anyone at the institution, or everyone. If it's just me, you can share that link with your students and they'll have access to it. And then just to show you, with creating that little clip, it now appears over here as another clip. So if that's something that you want to do, it's that easy to make. We're going to go back to the menu. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at are playlists. Believe it or not, we're almost done because a lot of this stuff is really easy. Earlier, I created a playlist for Wuthering Heights. And so if I want to see this playlist, click here, and you'll be able to see inside here that I currently have 2 titles in this. And this would be something where you could say, I want to share this entire playlist with my class. They're going to use it for the whole term. And you can embed the link to this playlist in their course, and they'll be able to have all of them all at once. So that's a nice feature of this. And let's say, well, there are only, okay, done?
No, you can go ahead and finish up. I was just letting you know.
So let's say you had the Wuthering Heights, sorry. Maybe you want to add more videos because there are many of them on Wuthering Heights. Sorry. You could also search and find other videos. And if you want to add them to your playlist, it's just a matter of finding the one you want. Like we had part 1 and 2, you can go to part 3, click on it, and when you do it, you just have to add it into your, there's this one button, right, click it right, and you can get that in your playlist as well. And this is very valuable because, and here's where you can select the item for your playlist. Add to playlist. So there are just a lot of tools. If you're comfortable with them and you've seen what they look like, there's just so much here for you to use. I encourage you to reach out to the library liaisons and just to let me see if I can unshare this with you. I wanted to share my contact information with you. Please feel free to reach out to me. Oops. Oh, it's
You're
doing
fine.
so well.
You are fine, absolutely
That's my
fine.
references. That's my email address and my phone number. And please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and get questions. And I'm here for you. And the library is here for you.
What a
Thanks for
wealth
listening.
of information. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing with us. Yay.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, beautifully done. Thank you.